Hey everybody, welcome to Board Game Heaven. My name is Raymond, and in this video I'm taking a look at Eridanos by Alexander Ushan, published by Brain Games. This is a two-player card game which plays in about 15 to 30 minutes for ages 12 and up. And before I explain the rules, I'd like to ask you to please hit that subscribe button if you haven't subscribed already. That really helps the channel a lot. And if you're already a subscriber, you're an absolute legend. Thank you so much. Also, please check out my Patreon page by clicking the link in the description below. Patrons of my channel get early access to all of my videos, their name in the credits, access to Patreon exclusive content, and you also save up for physical rewards. With that out of the way, let's set up a game. So, how to play Eridanos. First of all, you divide all the cards into a red deck, a blue deck, and all of these island cards. It's a two-player game, so each player chooses one of those color decks, and then you shuffle the island cards and put them in a pile, and then randomly determine the first player. Now, the goal of the game is to score islands. You're basically fighting rounds with your fleet of ships and other support cards such as mines. And the first player to control 3 of these islands wins the game. Now, every round consists of 3 phases. There's the preparation, the battle, and the aftermath. And before I can explain how that works, I need to give you an overview of what the cards do. So let's take a look at the islands first. There are 9 different island cards in the game, and you shuffle all those cards together, and every round you draw 1 island card from that deck, and that will be the island that you will be battling your fleets for. And the player that owns an island is the first player for the next round, but also gets that power. So every island has this icon in the bottom, and that's an island's power, and during your turn you can use that power. All of those powers are explained right here in the rule book. So as you can see, each of these icons is explained right there, so you can read that and see what it does. And during the second phase of a round, which I will explain in a bit, you can use that power instead of attacking, for example. So let's go over those 3 phases. So you've got 3 phases during a round. The first phase is the preparation, the second phase is the battle phase, and the third is the aftermath. What do you do during the preparation? Well, first of all, from all of your cards, you select 4 cards to be your front line and 4 cards to be your reserve. You can select any cards from your deck, you can look at them and decide where to put them, which 4 cards to put in your front line and where, and same for your reserve. And the rest of your cards simply remain in your unit pile, and your opponent, of course, does the same, and then this is their front line and that is their reserve. Your reserve cards will come into play if a card in the front line is destroyed. And that's all there is to it. So after both players have selected their cards to play, then starts phase 2, the battle phase. During the battle phase, you can choose one of 4 possible actions. The first action is very straightforward, that's attacking. If you want to attack, you choose one of the cards in your front line, and you can always have a look at them if you forgot what it was, just don't show the opponent. But if you're choosing a card to attack with that hasn't been revealed yet, you have to reveal it. So let's say, for example, what did we have here? We had this ship over here. I'm going to attack with this ship. Now I can attack any of the 4 cards in my opponent's front line. So it doesn't have to be directly adjacent. I can pick any of those 4 cards. The only rule here is that you cannot attack a unit knowingly that destroys neither of both cards. Now, of course, right now I don't know what these cards are, so I can attack any of those. There is one card that cannot attack, and that is, of course, the mine, and it has this icon here indicating that it can't attack, so don't do that. And after you have chosen a card to attack, you simply point out that card. Let's say we're attacking this card right here, for example. Then the opponent has to reveal that card, and then you will check out the outcome. Most of the times these cards will interact in some way. So my level 2 vessel here will attack and destroy a mine. Usually a mine just explodes and is destroyed in the process. So this will attack a level 1, a level 2 ship, or this landing barge, but not the submarine. It is destroyed by the submarine, however, and it also says that on the submarine here, it will attack the level 2 to level 4 other submarines and mines, and it is destroyed by the level 1 and level 3 ships. If both cards were the same, they destroy each other, and that is also normally indicated right there, because their own unit icon is always both on the left and on the right. And in some rare occasions, it can also happen that the cards do not interact, so they do not destroy each other. And in that case, nothing happens, both cards just remain on the table. And besides attacking, there are 3 other options, like I mentioned. There's also strengthening, surrendering, or using an island power. Now, strengthening is very simple. My ship here got destroyed, so that's gone. So then first the next player would attack. So they could use this submarine to attack. They also could use one of those other cards. But since this one has been revealed, they're gonna go ahead and attack with this. And they are going to attack, let's say, this card. So I reveal this card. It's the dragon. So the dragon will not destroy the submarine, but is also not destroyed by the submarine. And of course, also here on the submarine card, there's no mention of the dragon. So this is an example where both units simply don't see each other, and so they do not interact, and both stay on the table. So that was the opponent's turn. They also attacked. So now it's my turn. I want to strengthen. That means I can slide one of the cards in my reserve, and that has to be the one directly behind it, to the front line. Unlike the other cards, it will stay hidden until it's either attacked or I use it to attack. So the third action you can take is simply surrendering. That means you lose the round, you take all of your cards back into your unit pile, and the opponent will take control of the island that you were battling for. And so the fourth thing you can do during the battle phase is, if you already have an island from a previous round, you can use its special power. And again, all of those powers are explained over here in the rules leaflet. A battle phase ends when either one of the players surrenders, or when one player has all of their frontline cards destroyed. So it's important to remember that you lose immediately when you have no unit cards in the front line, regardless of the number of unit cards you still have in your reserve. So it's important to remember to strengthen now and then. So now that it is my turn again, I can't use the dragon to attack the submarine because they will simply ignore each other. Nothing will happen, and I cannot knowingly do that. So I'm going to have to choose a different target to either attack with the dragon or with one of these other cards. Now this one I used to strengthen with is also a submarine. So if I attack this submarine, they would simply destroy each other. So that's not really going to help me. Maybe I want to use this one. Let's have a look here. This one destroys a submarine and is not destroyed by a submarine. So I'm going to use this card. I'm going to reveal it to attack the submarine. So as we've seen, this destroys the submarine. The submarine does not destroy the level 1 ship. It gets destroyed by it. So this one is now also gone. So play goes back and forth like that until the battle phase ends. So let's say after a few turns, this is how the game ends. My front units were all destroyed. I didn't have enough time to strengthen because my last unit was here, so that got destroyed. I lose this battle, my opponent wins, so they win control of the island that we were fighting over. And in the rare case that the game ends in a game where 2 last units on the front line destroy each other, then the game ends in a draw and you simply play again. And the island you were playing for is simply removed from the game and you draw a new one. Now, if that was that player's third card, they win the game. Now, during the aftermath phase, when the winning player takes the island, it's important to remember that one of the cards in your front line must now guard the island. So let's have a look at what we had here. Let's see, there's 2 mines and a ship. So you take one of those cards, or maybe you want to use a mine to guard the island. So these will just return to the unit pile, and you place that card under the island and just keep that to the side. Whenever you use the special power of an island, you just turn it over to indicate that you've used that power, because you can only use it once per round. And the player who claimed control of that island becomes the first player for the next round. So then the next round starts, you draw a new island card from the island pile, that's what you'll be fighting over. And then you take all the remaining cards in your unit pile and any remaining cards in your reserve, and you make a new front line and reserve out of those. So it could be you have less than 8 cards left if you went all the way with that battle and you didn't surrender early. So let's have a look at what we still have. We only have 6 cards here, so I'm a bit of a disadvantage. So I'm going to place this one here, for example. I'm going to put this here, like that. And that will be my new fleet for this round. And then after doing that, I can take all the cards in my destroyed pile, and that will be my new unit pile. My opponent does the same, so they have these cards left from the previous battle. One card is of course guarding the island. There were a number of destroyed cards as well, so they can choose out of these cards. So let's just randomly put some cards down, and they also have 1 card short of a full fleet, and then the remaining cards from their destroyed pile are their new unit pile. And that's it. You simply keep playing that way, taking turns attacking, or in some cases using the island's power, or strengthening, or even surrendering, until one player has 3 islands and that player wins the game. So those are all the rules for Eridanos by Brain Games. Let's go to my final thoughts. So my final thoughts on Eridanos by Brain Games. Let's start with the components. Comes in a very small compact box, which is great, is not bigger than it needs to be. I think it was wrapped in biodegradable plastic, or it had a couple of those round stickers on the sides, don't really remember, but it was packed, you know, like ecologically friendly. Also the cards were simply wrapped by a bit of cardboard, so that's also biodegradable, so that's great, no plastic there. And I like that companies are paying attention to that these days more and more. The cards themselves are nice and big and of a good quality. They have a linen finish, they just look really good, and the back of them also looks very nice and clear. The artwork is phenomenal. I love the artwork on all of these cards. The islands are all beautiful, just very colorful, very nice, very atmospheric, and the ships as well are really cool and well done. So all of that looks absolutely perfect to me. I love the way this looks. The theme is fun. It's kind of like Stratego, but then on water with cards. So it's a naval battle that you're doing with equal armies. Both players have the same fleet, and they just pick from all of their cards which cards they want to deploy in their front line, and in their reserves you've got 8 cards, and that's it. And so that works for the theme. And the gameplay is also a lot of fun. It's very easy to learn, easy to teach. It plays pretty quickly. You just pick your 8 cards, and then it's about picking the opponent's cards and about remembering which cards have been destroyed, which units are gone, so you know what's left in the opponent's fleet. And of course there's also always going to be a couple of cards that you will not have deployed, so there's that to keep in mind as well. But it's a game of trying to crawl into your opponent's head and think about what they might have done and how they might have deployed their fleet. And it's a bit of gambling and a bit of bluffing, of course. So it's very fast and very, easy. It plays in 3 to 5 rounds normally. You could finish in 2 rounds if you happen to have won the island that counts for 2 points. There's just 1 in there, but all the other islands count for 1 victory point. And you just need to get 3. So it could be up to 5 rounds. And that kind of is enough for me for 1 game. So you could be done in 2 or 3 rounds. If you're lucky, and it could last up to 5. And that usually scratches that itch for me enough. Replayability is all right. Like I said, it's a fast game, so if you want to play again, you can easily do that. You can easily play multiple sessions of this in an evening. But like I said, for me, 1 full game, several rounds, usually does it for me, but it stays fun. I guess replayability is just how long you enjoy the game. But it's very small, doesn't take up much space in your collection. So I don't really see the need to get rid of it anytime soon. And it's easy to bring along to, work, to play in your lunch breaks because it's so fast, or just to game night or to friends or whatever. So yeah, that's good as well. And finally, there's the language dependency. So apart from, of course, the rules, which you get in several languages in the box, all the cards only have icons on them. And they're pretty clear and easy because you have the big icon in the middle that tells you what card this is. And then you simply check what units does this card destroy, and or on the right side here for me. And for you, that would be on the left. And which cards destroy this card. And that's all very clear. It's super simple. The only things you would need to remember is what the islands do. They also have an icon that kind of depicts what you do. But of course, you do need to read those in the rules and just remember what they do. But you usually just have a couple of islands in a game. So just look them up and explain that before you start playing for that island, and if you win it, you can just check the rules again and see what it does. So that works very well. I'm glad that it is language independent. So all in all, pretty good game, a lot of fun, very simple, nice little filler, beautiful art, definitely giving this a thumbs up. And I'd like to thank Brain Games for donating a copy for me to review. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and please also check out my Patreon page by clicking the link in the description below or the icon at the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time on Board Game Heaven.